Welcome, dear friends, and thank you for joining me today. I know many of you have seen so many changes in your life, and maybe you're at the point where you've started thinking about how to have some of the most challenging yet important conversations of all. The discussions that involve your final wishes and end-of-life decisions. Yes, sometimes these topics feel heavy or uncomfortable, but today I'd like to help you see them in a different light. I want you to feel empowered, free, and even relieved once you open up in a caring way about these emotional subjects. You're not alone, and many older adults find that talking openly brings a sense of calm and closeness with loved ones. Together, we'll explore 6 specific discussions that can truly ease worries. I invite you to stay with me until the end of this talk, and if you find it resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and comment with the hashtag #CommentYourCaringConversations if you're ready to share your wisdom. Let's begin by taking a gentle step into this topic. First and foremost, it's important to recognize that these conversations, while deeply personal, can also be an opportunity to connect on a deeper level with those who matter most to you. Many people become uncertain or anxious when they first realize that they need to speak honestly about their health, their hopes for the future, and the arrangements they'd prefer at the end of life. If you too have been feeling that pang of uncertainty, you can rest assured that there is a path to clarity, and it starts by naming the topics that weigh on your mind. We will cover 6 essential areas that many of us overlook until it's almost too late. But once we bring them to light, a weight tends to lift. The first discussion is all about your personal values and how they influence your decisions. Ending up in a situation where your voice cannot be heard can be frightening. If there ever comes a time when you aren't able to communicate, perhaps due to an illness or unexpected accident, your loved ones want to follow your values and your moral compass in making decisions on your behalf. But they can't honor those values if they don't know them clearly. So sitting down and peacefully explaining what truly matters to you, be it living independently for as long as possible, prioritizing comfort and pain management over certain medical interventions, or desiring to maintain social connections, helps others align their choices with your core beliefs. You might start by saying something like, "I want you to know that spending quality time together is more important to me than exhausting every medical procedure. Here's what that looks like for me." Such transparency can bring everyone a sense of unity and clarity. And you can broach this topic in a calm setting, like over a cup of tea or during a relaxed Sunday afternoon visit. Even if it feels a bit delicate at first, once you start talking, many people find relief that the silence has been broken. The second type of conversation involves expressing who you would trust as your healthcare proxy or decision maker. Often, we assume our spouse or closest child will simply know what to do, but that's not always the case. Sometimes, the spouse might be too emotionally overwhelmed, or perhaps one child is more comfortable dealing with doctors and paperwork. Determining who that person would be and letting other loved ones know helps eliminate confusion during emotionally charged moments. It might feel awkward. You might worry that others will feel hurt or offended. Try to approach it gently, maybe saying, "I'm sharing this because I love you all, and I want to prevent any disagreements if something happens." And as you explain your choice, emphasizing how you'd still want support from everyone can reduce tension. This step can pave the way for more open, supportive relationships by setting the stage for a united front. The third conversation revolves around advanced directives, living wills, or documents that specify the type of medical treatment you'd wish to receive or refuse if your health suddenly declines. Thinking about these matters when you're healthy allows you to be calm and thorough. You can say, "I've decided that if I ever need life support, I want doctors to keep me on it for a certain period, but if there's no improvement, here's my preference." Or perhaps you feel the opposite. You might have strong feelings about not prolonging life artificially if you are in a situation with no meaningful chance of recovery. Whichever the case, these are such personal decisions. You want them to be respected and documented correctly. Writing them down in a formal way is vital, but even more crucial is telling the people who might be in the hospital waiting room how you truly feel so everyone is on the same page. The weight of uncertainty can cause family rifts if they don't know your wishes, so removing that uncertainty is a true act of kindness. Now let's move along to the fourth conversation, which is about financial matters. This includes everything from who will handle your finances if you become unable to do so, to making sure the right people have access to bank information, deeds, or insurance policies. Money can be a sensitive subject at any age, but when we're older, the stakes feel higher. We might worry that addressing our financial affairs will seem like we mistrust our loved ones or that we're giving up our independence. But it doesn't have to be that way. Framing it as an act of protection, ensuring that no one gets caught off guard or stuck in legal tangles, helps your family appreciate that you're caring for them too. So, gather your documents, list any real estate or important accounts, note your passwords if you're comfortable doing so, and put these details in a spot where a designated person knows how to find them. Talking it through gently, saying something like, "I'd like to be sure no one is scrambling if I can't handle this someday," sets a thoughtful tone, and it can relieve you of that lingering fear that everything is scattered. The fifth conversation deals with your personal wishes for memorial services or funeral arrangements. Not everyone will want to plan these details ahead of time, but for many, it provides peace of mind. You might want a traditional ceremony. Perhaps you'd prefer something more casual, like a gathering in a local park, or you might want to forego a service altogether. Perhaps you have a particular reading, a favorite song, or a beloved poem you'd like to be included if there's a service. Sharing these preferences can be a gift to those you leave behind. They won't have to guess what you would have wanted, and they can feel certain that they're honoring you in exactly the way you'd prefer. Some folks worry that talking about funerals might lure sadness into the room, but often it becomes a moment to reflect on what you value most, or even to share favorite memories. It can prompt fascinating stories, so rather than draining joy, it can spark deeper connections. Lastly, the sixth conversation is one that addresses how you want to be remembered and how you'd like to pass on any cherished items, keepsakes, or even your personal legacy. You might tell your grandchildren about a set of old photographs you've kept for decades and why they matter to you. Perhaps you want a granddaughter to have your wedding ring, or a grandson to treasure a painting you bought many years ago. It's not always about material possessions, though. It could be letters you've written, stories recorded, or a legacy project of some kind. Having a heartfelt conversation about what you'd love to leave behind, whether it's a family recipe, a journal of your life experiences, or a hand-carved wooden box from a special place, can be profoundly meaningful. It lets loved ones understand the significance of the item or the memory, forming a tangible link to your spirit. The intangible gifts, like the lessons or advice you've gathered over your lifetime, can also become beautiful parts of this discussion. This is the moment to share your wisdom and reassure everyone that you see your life as a tapestry of experiences ready to be passed on. As you can see, each of these 6 topics ties together to create a more complete picture of how you'd like the latter chapter of your life to unfold, whether you're still in full health or facing new challenges. By stepping into these conversations with vulnerability and love, you clear a path that is filled with deeper understanding and support. You also give your family or close friends the tools they need to act in ways that truly align with your desires. The relief that comes from knowing decisions won't be clouded by confusion or conflict is immense. Some of you might worry that your loved ones won't be open to talking about these subject matters, or perhaps you feel you might break down emotionally. It's okay to feel that swirl of fear. If you need extra support, consider bringing in a neutral person like a counselor, faith leader, or someone your family respects. Make the space comfortable. Turn on some soothing music. Gather everyone in a place you feel safe, or even plan a video call if your family is spread out. Approach the conversation with warmth, reassuring them that while it may feel awkward at first, it can be one of the greatest gifts you leave them. Another concern many people share is the feeling that by preparing for the end, they are somehow hastening it. Please remember that planning is not an invitation for hardship, but rather an act of compassion for yourself and those around you. It frees your remaining time to truly live in the present, unburdened by the fear of unspoken and unorganized matters. The truth is, having tough conversations can make each day shine a bit brighter, because you know you're walking forward with intention and honesty. For some, these discussions might happen all at once, in a single meeting. For others, they might take place in smaller moments over several weeks or months. There's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as they happen with sincerity, empathy, and clarity. And you'll find there's a sense of empowerment that comes from speaking your truth. It allows you to feel that, even in situations you can't control, your voice will remain. Now that I've shared these 6 discussions, covering your core values, selecting a healthcare proxy, establishing advanced directives, addressing finances, planning memorial wishes, and clarifying keepsakes or your legacy, I'd love to invite you to reflect on which topic feels most urgent in your life right now. Sometimes, picking just one point to start is enough to build confidence. Let your loved ones know that you're not doing this to upset them. You're doing it out of love and care. Before I wrap up, let's quickly recap. We began by discussing the importance of communicating your personal values, so your medical and lifestyle decisions can align with what truly matters to you. Then we covered the delicate but crucial topic of who should step in as a healthcare proxy if you can't speak for yourself. From there, we looked at advanced directives, ensuring your medical wishes are clear. We moved on to finances, organizing your affairs to shield loved ones from chaos or misunderstanding. Next, we talked about your desire for any memorial or funeral arrangements, granting your circle the blessing of clarity. And finally, we explored the heartfelt talk about legacies and treasured items that connect generations. I encourage you to take a simple step forward tonight or this week. Maybe bring up one of these topics with a trusted friend or family member. See how it feels to set the stage for deeper connection. You might be surprised at the relief and closeness that blossom from these heartfelt words. And yes, it might take courage. So if you're feeling a little anxious, that's natural too. Just remember to move gently with patience and remind your loved ones that you're approaching these talks from a place of care. If this conversation has inspired you, please like this video, subscribe for more discussions on aging with grace and dignity, and comment. Caring conversations if you're ready to share your wisdom. Your story might encourage someone else to take that vital first step in opening up. Thank you for spending this time with me and for allowing me to be a small part of your journey. I wish you warmth in your connections, clarity in every decision, and the peace that comes from knowing you're living and speaking your truth, no matter what chapter of life you're in.